I'm about to share something with you that will completely change your relationships and just change your life. And that is this: people can only meet you where they are, mentally and emotionally, not where you want them to be, not where you think they should be, but where they actually are. And once you really understand that, all your relationships, your life will literally change, and you will stop taking things so personally. I'm going to read a question that was submitted to me and my answer to it that is going to beautifully illustrate this point. Someone wrote in and said that they started dating someone. She said he was lovely, very persistent, but one thing was wrong. He had a dependency on drugs and alcohol. Even though he had that dependency, he did ask her to be his girlfriend, and a week later, he was in rehab. She writes, which is great for him, but now he says he no longer wants contact with me, and it really upsets me. I did nothing but be really loving and encouraging to him and his recovery, and I feel like he has just tossed me aside. I have so much anxiety around abandonment from my childhood. It stirred everything up in me, and I just can't figure my way through it. Do you have any tips on how to face and deal with this? Yes. And then this is what I responded to her. I want you to know that I say this with complete compassion and empathy. You can't make this about you. I understand why you would, but you can't, and let me tell you why. Alcoholism and drug addiction is a very big deal, and his rehab is an even bigger deal. He cannot be in a relationship right now. It doesn't matter how loving you are. It doesn't matter how perfect you may be for him. It doesn't matter. He needs to focus on his recovery because it's a matter of life or death. And you need to be with someone who's ready for you. I know the timing sucks and it feels sudden, but he did the best he could with the emotional resources that he had. The best tip I can give you is this: don't make this about abandonment. Don't make it about you and your childhood. Let him go knowing he is making the only choice, literally the only choice that he is able to make. And I use this example as just a metaphor for many different other scenarios, which is we often take things so personally. And then we go into our wounds, our abandonment, we get triggered when we are not seeing the reality of the situation, which is that people can only meet you where they are mentally and emotionally, not where you want them to be. And this is particularly poignant for people who have a tendency, and this might be you, to get into relationships with people who need to be rescued. We think, I can love this person into healing. I can nurture them into healing. I can be so supportive. I can be their rock, their champion, that they will be healed. And if they can't see that in me, then I am not good enough. And this is how we play a really dangerous game with ourselves, because we think, I'm going to get love because I am this amazing, supportive person, without me recognizing that I am trying to heal someone into their potential, as opposed to seeing what's right in front of me. And I use this as an example because it's a fairly extreme example. If you meet someone and they are within the throes of their dependency, of their addiction, meaning they're not sober, they haven't done any healing work. That is someone who needs to be rescued. They can only save themselves, but they can't be in a relationship with you. I mean, even though they may want to. And so, yes, in a perfect world, he would have said, I'm not in a position to be in a relationship. In a perfect world, he would not have pursued you. But also, in a perfect world, you would have known better to not get involved with someone who needed to be rescued. In a perfect world, both people in this scenario would have done things differently. But we are all human beings, flawed, doing the best that we can with the emotional resources that we have. When we're drawn to someone, when we have a strong connection with someone, we can become very irrational. That is why it's called rose-colored glasses, because we are seeing everything in technicolor. We're not seeing the reality. That is when we don't make the best choices. And it takes a lot of wisdom and strength and discernment to be able to make good choices for ourselves when we are feeling attracted to someone. And it also takes wisdom, because over time, we start to just know better. It does not matter how much potential you see in someone. You can love someone's potential, or you can see that someone has amazing potential. And you also have to love where they are now. And you have to accept where they are now if you want to be in a relationship with them and you don't want to drive yourself insane. But we don't want to accept where someone is now, because to accept where they are now means that we may have to walk away or not be in a relationship with them. But instead, we stay. And then this is, again, where it gets so dangerous. We make it about us. We take it personally. And then the next thing you know, we're up at night thinking about how we were abandoned as children. And then we are, quote unquote, triggered. When what's really happening here is someone can only meet you where they are mentally and emotionally. And when we can see that, we free ourselves from the story that creates so much suffering. It creates if we free ourselves from the story that says, I'm not good enough. And then we can step back a little bit more and say, oh, what's my role in all of this? What's my participation in this? Because people can only meet me where they are mentally and emotionally. But I also have a responsibility to make good choices. So this isn't about shaming myself. This is about me learning from some mistakes, learning from really tough decisions. I had someone else write into me, and she can't seem to get out of the angry stage of a breakup. She was with someone, he was not abusive, but he didn't treat her great. He had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. She grieved a little bit, but then she was just so angry. And you have to go through anger. It's part of the stages of grief, but that's where she was stuck. She knew she was there too long. And what she had to realize is that she played a role in whatever was not working. She played a role in the decision. One of her roles was just choosing to remain in a relationship with someone who didn't treat her with the total love and respect that she deserved. He had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. But also, he had a lot of things going on in his life. He just couldn't. Part of it, I think, was that it wasn't the right relationship for him. And part of it was just the timing was very off. People can only meet you where they are mentally and emotionally, not where you want them to be. but actually where they are.